When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. If you want access to any of my early content, check out the Discord. This is the bargain between an evil god and a villain, part 16. Let's continue where we last left off in our story. After the battle of the failed surprise attack from the League of Villains, Izuku stayed behind, helped dispose of all of the dead corpses. Izuku dragged another corpse to the pile of dead bodies. Izuku turned around and began to drag another body to the pile. Once the pile was big enough, they started to transport the dead bodies in the back of a van and began to drive off of the property to be properly disposed of. About time the battle seamlessly was cleared of any corpses, the sun was beginning to fall. Thanks for the help. You're becoming invaluable. No problem. We have a business arrangement, and having you die on me would do me no favors. But you know, this is not the last we've heard of them. I have no doubt on that. Their little attack might have been pushed back, but they'll try again. We need to be ready when they do. You have no argument on that from me, Empress. Izuku went to his workshop. In the meantime, while they were cleaning everything up, he continued his work on his robotic infiltrated spider. Later that night, Izuku decided to do his own investigation. It wasn't hard for him to pin down Muscular's known contacts in America. It isn't entirely a secret that Muscular has associates with many of the random gangs around the city. Izuku standing on top of one of the large buildings in his villain gear. Izuku begins to jump from rooftop to rooftop, trying to locate any members of the Hydra gang. It didn't take him long to track one of them down. They are well known to operate several underground fighting clubs around the city. The fighting clubs is highly illegal. Quirk usage in these fights are prominent. Death occurs often. Now, America doesn't have a quirk usage law precisely, but it's strictly frowned upon using your quirks to kill or hosting underground fights. But not all the fights end in death. Majority of them do. He followed the members of the Hydra gang to an old abandoned church. He saw criminal members of their gang and a few rich civilians enter the church, flashing money to gain entrance. Izuku could always sneak in, but he chose to do another approach. He slowly approached the two gang members of the Hydra gang that are guarding the front entryway of the abandoned church. He handed over the entry fee. There was no issue. A slight pat down to make sure he wasn't bringing any weapons. They left his daggers alone. They were mostly interested to see if he was carrying any guns on him. Once he was checked, they cleared him through. Izuku stepped into the threshold of the abandoned church and began to follow the rest of the guests throughout the church. Luckily for Izuku, he found a small group that are heading towards the fights. They eventually was led to a secret doorway behind a couple of bookshelves, leading down, as Izuku could see, stairs leading underneath the church. Once they exit through the door, he entered a underground bar with a huge cage fighting ring. Izuku sat down at an empty table and began to listen to all the chatter to see if he could pick up any information on the League. Izuku's not too well known, so no one really paid attention to him. A few people stared at him cautiously. After all, not many people walk in with a skull mask made of pure bone. But mostly, they left Izuku alone. He ordered a beverage to blend in with the crowd. He's not big on alcohol, but it's necessary to blend in. He occasionally drank from his alcohol beverage and continued to listen to many conversations going around the entire bar. Well, isn't it Mr. Spooky himself, Small World, as he flopped down on the booth right across from Grim, well, sitting on the same table. Indeed, it is a small world. River, was it? River displayed a vicious grin on his face. Relax, Spooky. I'm not here to cause any problems. It's my day off, after all. I don't get paid to fight you now. There's no point. I'm more curious why you're here. This doesn't seem to be your type of scene. Grim. You don't seem to be the social type. You're not here to kill anyone, otherwise there would be plenty of dead bodies, given your reputation. And how would you know my reputation, River? Ever since our first encounter, I did some homework on you. There's not a whole lot of intel on you, but what I was able to find was very interesting. But that's not really important. You're not here for the fight, so there's only one reason you're here. And I have a strong gut feeling you're here for information. You seem to know much, River. But to answer your question, I'm indeed here for information. You seem to be a guy well connected. You're not wrong there. Spooky, but I'll bite. I probably have the information what you're looking for. There's this new villain group that made themselves known recently. Ah, the League of Villains. I believe they're a sect of villain group out there in Japan. Not much known about them. You know of them? I heard of them. Like I said, there's not much I know about the League. But I'm not surprised you're looking for some intel in them. After all, their little attack did get people talking. With your little business partner, the Empress, in her little ragtag group, my boss is well aware of the situation, and she doesn't like unknown variables making themselves known on the board. You know how it is, how it goes. A group like the League of Villains disturb the balance we have going on here. It's bad enough we have We have the #1 hero from Japan here, still in our country, in this very city, All Might himself. But of course, my information or my intel won't come free. Very well. Name your price, River. How about you join this little fighting tournament that's going to happen here in a couple hours? Of course, I'll join you. After all, I always love a good fight. I want to see how good you are. And I'll give you the information afterwards, Scout's honor. As he did a mocking salute with his 2 fingers. Very well, I'll play along. For now, River. Good. We have a accord. Don't worry, I'll get it all set up. This is going to be a blast. As he got up and walked over to the booth where they need to sign in, he signed himself up alongside with Grim onto the tournament bracket. It's about to start in a couple hours. Izuku waited for River to return. He doesn't mind doing this little tournament for information. It's not like he doesn't like fighting, and fighting new opponents would be a nice change of pace for him. Naturally, he has to limit himself to make sure he doesn't end his opponents too quickly. River finally approached Grim after 15 minutes. Everything's all set up, Spooky. If we do well, I have a feeling we're going to get some good amount of spending money as a reward. These tournaments are quite lucrative, after all. I could always use some more spending cash. I'm not going to say no to a way to earn some more money. I could tell you're the type of guy that likes to do business. Of course, being a villain is not cheap. River busts out laughing because he knows Grim is completely right. Being a villain is quite expensive and dangerous. And taking money from the Cerberus gang is always a plus. So they own this place. Yes, they do. They own many similar fighting clubs scattered all around the country. They're not as big as my boss or that Empress girl that you've been hanging around. They have their hands in a lot of pockets. They're no less dangerous, but luckily for us, they have a non-conflict agreement with my boss and your business partner, the Empress. So how these tournaments run exactly, River? It's quite simple. It's usually one-on-one death matches. Of course, death is not always a guarantee. It really all depends on the person you're fighting and your willingness to kill. And I have a feeling you don't have a problem with that. Of course not, River. And you're still mostly unknown. This tournament will definitely help with that little reputation of yours. I see your logic. I'm indeed looking to build up my reputation more as a villain. I want to be known well. After all, when people know who you are, many doors opens for you that were shut before. You don't have to worry. If I fight you, I won't kill you. I'm so honored. As both River and Grim cracked a grin on their face. Izuku has nothing against River. It's It's just the first time they met. They met in conflict because they were on two different sides. It was just business. He finds River to be quite amusing. Smartass, but he gets along with smartasses easily. As long as he gets the information, he doesn't really care how he achieves it. As long as he gets the intel, that's all that matters. The methods doesn't matter in the slightest. In Izuku's mind, Izuku and the patrons of this underground fighting club as the crowd begins to get more excited, as the tournament is getting close to start, as Izuku observed all the patrons drinking at the bar, deals being made, money being transferred, drugs being passed by hand, he witnessed with an uncaring gaze. The hours pass as Izuku joined the rest of the competitors in the backroom area that is used for all the upcoming fighters that are about to take part in a tournament. A familiar blonde approached Izuku with an arrogant expression on her face and pride. Fancy meeting you here. I'm glad I came to this dump, otherwise I would have probably missed you. Hello, Apex. Come for vengeance? I don't care about that. It is true, you stole my brother's shit. You cut us lacking. We're definitely have to pay you back for that. But we respect the power play you accomplish. We can respect that. Me and my brother respect power. You saw something you want, and you took it. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to crack some skulls. And you're just a bonus. You better not lose to anyone. You hear me? And she grabbed the collar of his shirt. Of his, villain gear, basically what it is. If you're going to be defeated, you're going to be defeated by me. Got it? As Apex let go, turned around and walked away to get ready for whoever she's facing first. River whistled at the pretty blonde. I see you got ways with the ladies. You haven't even entered the tournament, even for your first match, and you already got a admirer. Me and Apex have history. Not much history, but history nonetheless. We have faced each other in combat before. The announcements of the first match broadcast went through the intercom. Well, looks like I'm up first. River turn around and head towards the opening to get into the cage arena. River entered the arena, gazing at his surroundings briefly, with a grin on his face. River's opponent did not wait to reveal himself. His opponent was a man in his 30s, smug, thinking this match was going to be an easy one. He's just fighting some teenager kid. River grin only widened further. The man charged, thinking he could overpower his opponent because of his larger size compared to River. River, on the other hand, wasn't worried. He maneuvered around the right fist to demonstrate a palm strike, then immediately released water out of his palm as the water hit like a hydro cannon, sending the man into the cage hard, completely knocking him out in a single attack. Basically it was a palm strike slash attack with his water quirk. River stuck his hands in his black jacket, well, black and blue, you see in the picture, it's what he's wearing, in his jacket pocket and stepped through the area to get back to the back area where the rest of the fighters were watching the battle. Let's see you try to beat that, Spooky. Izuku only smirked. He knows what exactly River's doing. He's trying to make this tournament into a competition between the two of them. As the next match was announced, Apex's name was announced. Well, boys, looks like I'm up next. Not bad for a blue-haired bastard. He completely walked past them and followed the pathway into the arena, waiting for her opponent. Apex was immediately attacked by her opponent when she entered the cage arena, dodging and weaving around her opponent's attacks. Her opponent morphed her hands into long metal claws. Apex kicked her opponent in the stomach, sending the younger girl into the ground as she dug her metal claws, digging into the arena ground, making slash marks as she went. The woman charged at Apex. Apex dodged an initial strike, then kicked her in the side of the head, forcing the woman to back off. As Apex circled around, well, actually, she circled around Apex like a predator that's about to pounce on her prey. Apex wasn't worried one bit. You're pretty good, I'll give you that. Those claws are a nice touch, but you can't win this. Shut up, bitch, and die. As she charged forward, swinging her metal claw towards Apex. Apex dodged by ducking under the claw swipe, and immediately created her mace without the spikes, and slammed the mace underneath the woman's chin, sending her airborne. Then Apex appeared right above the woman while she was airborne, and slammed her mace into her stomach, sending the woman down, hitting the ground. As the tile ground beneath the woman begins to crack, like spiderweb cracks, then Apex came flying down, slamming her mace further into this woman's stomach. As Apex got up from her kneeling position, as the crowd started to cheer, witnessing such brutality, Apex didn't have to finish the woman off. She was done. She was down, beaten, and battered, completely knocked out. Apex calmly walked back to the back area, where the other fighters are waiting for their turn. You see, boys, that's how you get shit done. I'm looking forward to what you bring to the table, Grim. River whistled once again. She's not Muscular's sister for nothing. That blonde is quite vicious. As the announcer began the next match, as a white-haired boy with blue-eyed teenager stepped into the ring, as arcs of electricity emanate from his body, Alex stepped into the cage arena with a savage grin on his face. Alex didn't wait for any invitation. He immediately bolted forward, slamming his fist into his opponent, sending the man skidding backwards from the force of his punch. Alex's opponent wiped the blood with his forearm where he was struck across the face, and got into a fighting stance. Despite Alex's opponent pretty much tower over him, he did not hesitate and attacked again. His opponent was strong, built like a musclehead. He clearly is a trained fighter, but Alex was faster, and he has killer instincts. and he hasn't even used his quirk yet. At this point, he's just playing with his food. Each time they try to strike, or he tried to strike Alex, Alex would easily maneuver around his large fist and unleash a devastating punch, one after another. Then Alex's body began to emanate bursts of electricity, increasing his speed. Outside of the spectators weren't able to keep track of his movements. Even the crowd and most of the fighters in the backstage couldn't keep track of him. His movements were just too fast as Alex pierced his fist into the man's chest, unleashing a maximum amount of voltage into the man's body. As Alex pulled out his hand, then walked away as the man fell to the ground dead, Alex nonchalantly swung his hand towards the ground to get the blood off of his fist and walked out of the ring whistling with a vicious grin on his face. The staff of the underground fight begins to drag the dead body away to get ready for the next match. Well, damn, he went right for the kill. That he did. Most impressive. When the ring was cleared up, they announced the next match. The next match were two women, one younger, one a bit older. The younger was a teenager girl named Scarlett, as she just entered the ring, staring at her opponent, as her shadow and the nearby shadows in the immediate area start to pulse, waiting for her command. Just a single word for them to strike like vipers. The woman across from Scarlett got into her fighting stance. Scarlett stared at her opponent coldly. They both moved. The older woman came in fast. Scarlett began to engage her opponent. Scarlett has always been a natural fighter, so it was quite easy for her to dodge out of the way of her opponent's attacks. It's quite obvious what she's trying to do. So Scarlett was just simply dancing around her older opponent with no expression on her face, just a blank stare, pissing off the woman immensely. Scarlett slapped her fist out of the way, then slammed her elbow into the woman's stomach, then grabbed her by the hair and threw her across the arena ground, hitting the ground hard from being tossed by the hair. A shadow begins to cover Scarlett's entire fist and forearm, hardening like it's a outer layer of hard shadow. Once the woman got up, Scarlett was already there and already swinging her fist into the woman's stomach. The older woman didn't have time to react as another strike hit her the side of her ribs, then ending her attack with a vicious elbow in her face. The woman was too clearly dazed, not realizing she was standing right underneath a large amount of shadow. Suddenly, the large amount of shadow seemed to have a mind of their own. With a singular snap of her finger, the shadow beneath the woman formed into a large, sharp shadow spike that pierced the older woman in the chest, killing her instantly. With a single wave of her hand, the shadow returned back to normal, as she calmly walked away as they announced Scarlett as the winner. After the dead body was dragged away, Grimm's name was finally called as he calmly walked into the ring. Scarlett, Alex, Apex, and River had their full attention on the match, including the rest of the competitors and many people in the crowd. Izuku's appearance stuck out, wearing a bone skull mask. As he stand in the middle of the ring with his hands behind his back, waiting for his opponent, as he was dead quiet. Grimm's opponent wasn't much to look at. He was a skinny kid around his age. He looked extremely weak. Once the death battle began, his opponent activated his transformation quirk. The once weak, skinny figure of Jacob began to grow into a full-sized human lizard hybrid. His once weak form was completely transformed. His muscles increased. Once his transformation was finally complete, Jacob let out a mighty roar. Interesting. Very interesting, as Izuku had his hand under his chin in a thinking pose. What are you waiting for, lizard? Come and get it. I don't have all day. As he gestured to bring it, using a universal sign in a mocking tone. Jacob rushed forward, managed to swing his huge fist towards Grimm. Grimm only nonchalantly slapped his fist away and landed a palm strike in Jacob's chest, sending the lizard man to a skid across the ground. Jacob stopped his momentum by digging into his claws on his feet into the ground on the hard pavement of the arena floor. Jacob immediately rushed toward swinging its humongous claws. Naturally, Izuku easily dodged the attempt as Jacob's lizard tail came flying towards him. Jacob came flying through, swinging his lizard tail. Grimm caught it and lifted him off of the ground and slammed him into the ground multiple times as he threw him to the side, hitting the metal of the cage. As Jacob was on all fours, charging at Grimm, jumping into the air and swinging his tail for another strike. Izuku crossed his arms in an X formation, blocking the tail strike. That didn't even push him back, not even a step. Then Izuku struck like a rocket, slamming across the face of Jacob with his fist, sending him right back into the cage arena wall of the metal, basically the metal cage. Izuku did not engage further. He waited for his opponent to recover. He didn't want things to end too quickly, after all. He waited so long to have his first match. He wants to enjoy this as long as he can. Get up, we're far from being done, Gecko. Jacob got to his feet and swiped the blood from his lizard snout. Izuku noticed his opponent is not moving, but he's charging something. He could sense it, like he's charging some sort of energy. He wasn't entirely wrong. Jacob started to shoot balls of energy, orbs of energy, blasting them out forward from his palms. Izuku, on the other hand, with a grin on his face, he never thought a type of transformation quirk like this would have some sort of energy manipulation. He's not sure how his manipulation, how far his manipulation goes. But with a snap of his finger, a blaster skull materialized and shot out a beam of green energy. As the beam collided with the flying balls or orbs of energy, Izuku is completely confident that he can defeat his opponent. He's using the weakest versions of his blaster skulls. It was efficient enough to cancel out both attacks. As the smoke begins to clear, I see you like using energy. You like using energy, do you? Allow me to even out the playing field. Shall we, Gekka? With a snap of his finger, more begins to materialize. Well, blaster skulls materialize all around, surrounding the cage, surrounding Jacob. Jacob could spot at least 10 of the floating skulls that look like dragon skulls hovering around him. With a single mental command, all of his blaster skulls open fire, shooting beams of green energy, making loud noises as the beam hits one after another. As the audience were surprised on the scale of the attack. After barrage after barrage of his green energy beams finally receded, Jacob was back into his original human form, burnt, his clothes ripped and teared. He was injured, but not severely. He was completely unconscious, defeated. A little bit disappointing, but I showed what I needed to show. He turned around and walked back into the room with the rest of the competitors were waiting for their turn. Holy shit, Spooky. Hell of an impact you made there. I'm kind of glad you didn't use that on me when we first met. If you keep winning your matches, I have no doubt you get your chance to experience it. Ominous, I like it. We'll just have to see how things go, Spooky. That's where we're gonna stop it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next video.